Okay, so the very last bit that you might be asked to do along these same lines is looking at actually drawing pictures to show a molecule of an element or a molecule that is also a compound. Okay, so we said before, if we get two things that are identical, okay, then we can call them atoms. Okay, so these could be anything. They could be 2 atoms of lithium, 2 atoms of carbon. It doesn't really matter. We can also have molecules of elements. Okay, so if we were going to draw a molecule of an element, we would have maybe 2 things that are identical joined together. Okay, so these could be 2 atoms of an element. This could be a molecule of an element. So this could be something like O2 or N2. Okay, so that's what that would look like. If we want to look at drawing compounds, okay, then we have to have obviously the idea represented that it's not just one element, okay, creating our compound. Okay, so if we wanted to draw a molecule of a compound, we could have something like a water or a carbon dioxide, but we would have to represent that as a molecule. Okay, so this is a molecule. It's no longer an element because we've got 2 separate elements in that arrangement. Okay. Now when you're drawing these in a test or an exam, you may just use, you know, like an empty spot, or you could use this shaded spot. So if you're going to draw them, you could have 1 shaded spot, okay, something like that. Here you could have 2 empty spots, 1 empty spot, 1 shaded spot, just something like that, just something that can differentiate one atom from another. The very last thing that you might have to look at is a mixture. Now mixtures are when you've got more than one element but they're not necessarily chemically combined. So at the top here we could have a mixture of elements. So if we're going to have a mixture of elements, we could have a couple of those, a couple of these. Okay, that would be a mixture of elements. The other way we could represent that would be to have maybe a couple of elements that like to only have 1 atom, and we could have a couple that like to go in pairs as well. So although here we've got 3 different elements, okay, some of which like to go in molecules, some of which like to be individual atoms, they're not touching, they're not chemically combined, so we call them a mixture. Okay, but this would be a mixture of elements. Okay, we could also have a mixture where we've got a mixture that isn't just elements, it could have a compound involved as well. So we could have a mixture where we've got a compound in there, or perhaps even 2 compounds. Okay, so now we've got a mixture that has got a couple of elements involved and also a couple of compounds involved. Okay, but again, these things are not touching each other, and so they're just mixed together, they're not actually chemically combined. So those things you might be again asked to draw. Okay, so you might be asked to draw a mixture or work out what a mixture is. Some good examples of mixtures could be things like air. Air is a really good example of a mixture because we've got things like nitrogen, we've got oxygen, we've got carbon dioxide. Okay, you've got all sorts of things mixed in the air, but they're not all chemically combined. There is no such compound as air, it is just a mixture. Salt water is another good one. So we've got NaCl, H2O. Okay, these are mixed together. So these would be two good examples if you ask for mixtures.